everyone, and welcome to Daily Newspaper Analysis, which is brought to you by Losico. So today we will discuss two articles. The first one is from The Hindu, which is titled as Making Parties Constitutional. So this article talks about that how can we make our political parties better in functioning, and how can we have better constitution of these political parties so that we have a better structure, better answerability, and a better movement of the parties, basically the political parties. The second article is from the Indian Express, which is titled as Delinking the Aadhaar. So here an overhaul of the Aadhaar issue has been done, wherein that how much has the government been able to adhere to the judgment of the Puttaswamy case, which was there regarding delinking of the Aadhaar. So what was the issue and how much have we been able to do it will be discussed here. This newspaper analysis is brought by me. My name is Sheva Khan. I am a law graduate and I had completed my law degree from Uttaranchal University in 2019. I also was the batch gold medalist and I also have been a national debater and a public speaker. Here at Losico, I'm working as the manager for current affairs vertical and also as an expert for the current affairs. If you wish to connect with me, you can find me on my Twitter as well as LinkedIn handles. The links to both are available in the description box below. This is the multiple choice question from previous discussion. Let's see. PM CARES Fund was brought through. Your options are constitutional amendment, legislation, hosting a website, or none of the above. This is the descriptive question for the day. Discuss the significance of the Puttaswamy case in Aadhaar linking issue. How does it impact one's right to privacy? So let's discuss the first article today that is about making the parties constitutional. So a political party is mostly a group of citizens who believe in a common political ideology and governance. Yes, of course, now be it like any political party, be it the TMC, Congress, BJP, or any political party, it's basically a group of people who are like-minded and like-minded in respect with their political ideology and also the way they can govern the people. So they act as a political unit wishing to obtain the reins of the government. So they're important because they are the linkage between the people and the representative machinery of the government. Like for example, we have the parliament and then we have the people for whom the parliament will make the laws. Now it is this political party, or basically these are the political parties that are the linkage between the people who vote and then the institution or basically the machinery of government that actually governs the citizens. So the German model for political parties has been discussed in this article. Let's see what basically it is. So the basic law of Federal Republic of Germany grants constitutional status to the political parties. Now this is something that we have different in Germany, because in India, if you know, the political parties are governed through the Representation of People's Act 1951, and but we did not really have a constitutional status or a specific article, part or chapter assigned to the political parties. But unlike this, the Germany definitely has one. The status, rights, duties, and functions of the political parties are stipulated under Article 21 of the Basic Law. So over there, or the Article 21 of the Basic Law of the the Germany, it actually talks about the status, rights, duties, and functions of various political parties. So basically, when this article talks about making the political parties constitutional, it probably talks about the possibility that what if we also, like instead of just a legislation or a statute, we also provide the constitutional status to the political parties, and will there be a chance that just like Germany, even the parties in India would have better rights, duties, and also better answerability and status. Then it says that in a country like India, the German model makes more sense than the UK and the USA model regarding identifying the political parties. So it says that at present, the only legislation regarding the political parties, as we just discussed, is Section 29A Clause 5 of the Representation of People Act. Now, it mandates the political party to bear true allegiance to the Indian Constitution and to uphold the sovereignty, integrity, and unity of the country. See, obviously, the political parties, they have to adhere to the Constitution. Now, nothing can go saved from the Constitution. Everything is under the rule of law, right? But still, the governing body or the governing statute or the governing source of the political parties in India is not the Constitution directly. Rather, it is a legislation or a statute called as the Representation of People Act. So the Indian Constitution is one of the most meticulously formed constitutions in the world, where even the right to form a cooperative society is recognized as a fundamental right. Now, under the, to form associations and everything. So even to form a cooperative society is there as a fundamental right. So why not? The argument is that why not to have political parties or to form political parties also can be made, at least if not a fundamental right, but even a legal right. But yes, of course, it can definitely be, endowed under the ambit of fundamental right. So, however, so far it has overlooked political parties for the same, which makes them highly communalized at times, due to which what happens is that the reach of the constitution or the constitutional spirit does not, extend well till the political parties, due to which most of them have become very much communal in nature, that they have their own sets of aspirations, their own thought process. Maybe someone is, way too devoted towards one particular religion, maybe one particular ideology, due to which there can be seen as a significant gap or distance from the constitution. So let's talk about the political parties in the United States and the United Kingdom. So in developed countries, the political parties maintain internal democracy to the highest degree. So over there, internal democracy also, that all the members of the political party also have, the right to speak, their basic rights to, just put forward their thoughts and everything. So in UK, the Conservative Party has a National Conservative Convention, which in turn has a central council which elects the president, chairman, and the vice president, which probably is missing in the Indian system of the political parties. In US, both the Republican and the Democratic Party have the National Committee to oversee and head them. So let's see that what are the future prospects for making the political parties constitutional, and whether or not it is actually possible with respect to the Indian case or not. So let's discuss the second article for the day, which talks about delinking the Aadhaar. So in the Puttaswamy's second judgment, Justice D.Y. Chandrachud opined that the Aadhaar project failed to account for the flaws in the framework. Basically, as we know that the case, Puttaswamy case, is a very, very leading case, and it was the one that actually brought right to privacy as the fundamental right of an individual. But then later also, it moved forward to explain the focus, the ambit, the scope of right to privacy, wherein the Aadhaar linking, the entire process of Aadhaar linking, that the government wanted the citizens to link their Aadhaar with their bank accounts and everything, and so on and so forth. So it was also challenged on the rights, on the ground of right to privacy, which was earlier brought as a fundamental right by this very same case. So that is why this is also generally known as the Puttaswamy second judgment, or the Aadhaar linking, or the delinking judgment, to be more precise. So the government continues to undermine the judgment. Now let's understand that what basically was the judgment and how the government has undermined or not really, taken heed of the judgment in the real sense. So within a year, the government amended the act to allow Aadhaar authentication for banking and telecom services. Now here, this was an important point which was brought forward by the case judgment, that the government would not compel, or basically it would not be made compulsory that the Aadhaar linking be done in the bank accounts and, for the telecom services as well. So this was the judgment of the Supreme Court. But on the contrary, what the government has been doing is that it has amended the act specially to allow the Aadhaar authentication for banking and telecom services. And these were exactly ones which were, the Supreme Court had categorically struck down, that nobody would make it compulsory, or it would not be made compulsory that for opening a bank account also you should get your Aadhaar linked with that. So the Law Ministry has recently approached the UAIDI, which basically is the authority for bringing in the Aadhaar, to link Aadhaar to the voter cards. So this follows an earlier request of similar nature by the Election Commission of India, stating that the state's interest and the passing, proportionality test, it would make sense that the voters are also, the voter cards are also linked with the Aadhaar. Now let's understand what basically was the proportionality test in this regard. So the proportionality test was laid down in the seminal case of Puttaswamy first, which is a strict test to pass if the state wishes to infringe the right to privacy. So basically, as we know, that the Puttaswamy first case had brought right to privacy as a fundamental right. But then again, as we know, that the fundamental rights are not absolute in nature, and we have reasonable restrictions upon them. So in the similar light, the proportionality test was also laid down by the Puttaswamy case, in which it said that if at all the state has to surpass, or it has to override the right to privacy, which is the fundamental right, so the grounds on which something like that is being done, it would have to pass the proportionality test. and that is why it will only if it passes so, and then only in that situation it would be allowed to infringe upon the right to privacy of the individual. So firstly, the Election Commission of India recommends this procedure to remove the duplicity in the voter base, but so far has not shown the estimated extent of the same. So basically, there are lacuna and there are loopholes from every end coming here and there. And when specifically when we talk about the people who are actually worried that their data, their information, crucial information might be it might get misused, might get hacked or something. So in such a situation, they definitely have the right to maintain their right to privacy, and the government, if at all it has to, like in the coming there comes such dire a situation, so if at all if it has to take away their right to privacy, then definitely the cause should be proportionate enough to the loss the people have to bear because of losing a fundamental right. So we should be taking a lesson from the history in this regard. So technological fixes cannot be the answer to socio-political issues, let alone a situation that tampers with the very fabric of the constitution. Yes, of course. So just if we think that we will go, digital India, we will go on with the technology and we will resolve all the social, political problems that we have in the society, that really is not going to happen. Also, the Election Commission of India's latest attempt is thus unconstitutional when it asks to link the voter cards with the Aadhaar, unacceptable and a detrimental approach towards our right to privacy and our democratic rights to vote. So this article also says that secondly, the ECI, that is the Election Commission of India, has also not shown that how this procedure would prevent the duplicity. Like, of course, because cases of having duplicate Aadhaars also have come forward. So how can we really make sure that if at all the voter cards are, they are linked with the Aadhaar, so it will actually, in the real way, it would be able to prevent duplicity. So that is not really talked about. And on the contrary, the fallouts of the exclusions can be very disastrous because, of course, very, very intricate and, very important data of all the voters of the country, each and every eligible voter of the country would be available at one point, one portal, anywhere at one place with the Ministry of the Election Commission of India. And this is definitely at great risk of being hacked or being misused in any coming time. So despite the Supreme Court's warning, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh went forward with the linking, and as a result, 55 lakh voters found themselves arbitrarily deleted from the list in 2018. So this was very surprising and also unfortunate that happened. So the proportionality test only passes if there are two grounds, or if which needs to be fulfilled if at all the cause of the government to violate or to take away the right to privacy would stand constitutional. First, that no other effective measure can be enacted or formulated that beyond apart or except for doing this, there is no other option that is left with the government. Or secondly, no less repressive measures can be enacted. So something that is of lesser gravity, if nothing lesser than this can be done, only then the proportionality test would pass. Otherwise, every such step that is taken by the government would stand unconstitutional in nature. So yeah, this was all for the day. We hope it was a good session for you all. Thank you so much for joining in. Also, do not forget to catch the podcast discussion for the very same analysis on Spotify, Google, Apple, as well as Anchor Podcast. If you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can definitely join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below, or you can scan the QR code that you can see on your screens right now. Also, do not forget to follow us on our official Instagram channels for Judiciary, CLAT Prep, UGC Net, as well as Law Finance exams as well. Thank you so much.